voters coming out and saying yesterday, quote, "I don't think you can be the biggest jerk in the league and punish your team and your organization and your fan base the way he did and be the MVP. I think he's a bad guy, and I don't think a bad guy can be the MVP at the same time."
I think he's a bum.
And here we go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Jazzbro Gonzo here. Another What's Next. Happy Thursday. That would be one Aaron Rodgers. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is back in the news again. You would think that at this time of the year, being that the season is almost at an end, the MVP race is heated up. Now, pretty much came down to two people, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. You could easily say that both have had great seasons. They have. Of course, Tom Brady, coming off a Super Bowl win from last year, just kept on continuing to roll in. But Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers said, "Hold my beer. We're going to have a better season." They're 13-3. As a Green Bay fan, you're happy. As someone who's outside of Green Bay, like myself, who's a Philadelphia Eagles fan, who's on the verge of making the playoffs. Actually, no, we clinched a playoff spot. Excuse me. You got to give your props. You got to tip your hat to Aaron Rodgers. He's had a hell of a year. But not all people thought he had a hell of a year. Let's take a look. This comes out of Breitbart. He's a bum. Aaron Rodgers blast MVP voter for snub over vaccine status. Packers QB Aaron Rodgers called Chicago area MVP voter who refused to vote for him because he's a dirty American. That's right. He's an unvaxxed coof. An absolute bum during Wednesday's press conference. On Tuesday, Hub Arkush, one of the 50 people in Associated Press allowed to vote for the NFL's most valuable player, went on to Chicago radio saying that he thinks Aaron Rodgers is a bad guy and one of the, quote, biggest jerks in football. Quote, "I don't think you can be the biggest jerk in the league and punish your team and your organization and your fan base the way he did than to be the MVP," Arkush said via Pro Football Talk. As to Rodgers being the unvaxxed, Arkush said, "They're on our guidelines." Arkush said, "We are told to pick a guy who we think is the most valuable to his team. I don't think it says anywhere strictly on the field, although I do think he hurt his team on the field by the way he acted off the field." They're going to get the number one seed anyway. But what if the difference had come down to the Chiefs game, where he, quote, lied about being vaccinated? Let's put that in quotes. And they ended up getting beat. On Wednesday, Rodgers blasted Arkush, calling him an absolute bum for his remarks. I'm not going to read it. Let's hear it.
Think of one of the 50 voters coming out and saying yesterday, quote, "I don't think you can be the biggest jerk in the league and punish your team and your organization and your fan base the way he did and be the MVP. I think he's a bad guy, and I don't think a bad guy can be the MVP at the same time."
I think he's a bum. He's an absolute bum. He doesn't know me. I don't know who he is. No one knew who he was probably until yesterday's comments. But I mean, and I listened to the comments, but to say he had his mind made up in the summertime, in the off season, that I had zero chance of winning MVP.
Wow.
In my opinion, should exclude, future votes. His problem isn't with me being a bad guy or the biggest jerk in the league. Because he doesn't know me. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know anything about me. I mean, I've never met him. I've never had lunch with him. I've never had an interview with him. His problem is I'm not vaccinated. So if he wants to go on a crusade and collude and come up with
what it comes down to. That's all it came down to.
Award just for this season and make it the most valuable vaccinated player, then he should do that. But he's a bum, and I'm not going to waste any time worrying about that stuff. He has no idea who I am. He's never talked to me in his life,
But he's a bum, and I'm not going to waste my time worrying about this stuff. This comes from Aaron Rodgers. He has no idea who I am. He never talked to me in his life. But it's unfortunate that those sentiments, it's surprising to me that he would even say that, to be honest. But I knew this was possible. I talked about it on Pat McAfee show, weeks ago, but it's crazy. On Wednesday, our coach took the airwaves again, telling listeners at the Score that he made a big mistake in talking about disclosure about his voting plans. Now, this comes out of Outkick. Vaccine-crazed MVP voter walks back dopey remarks made about Aaron Rodgers. Hub Arkush, a member of the NFL and MVP Voters Committee, tried to rile up a woke mob against Packers QB Aaron Rodgers in his vax status and lost. On Tuesday, Arkush insisted that Rodgers will not be deserving of the several MVP votes this season, including his own, due to off-field issues regarding Rodgers' unvaxxed status, a controversy spawned by the media. Quote, I can guarantee I will not be the only one voting for him, Arkush stated on 670 The Score in Chicago, exposing an unspoken favor that sport writers grant vaccinated athletes. Arkush went as far as calling Rodgers a bad guy for being the unvaxxed, rather than evaluating Rodgers by his league-leading 13-3, remaining the gold standard for armed talent in the league. Arkush wanted to turn the MVP voting into a gauge for players' compliance, which fell flat and prompted him to release this apology. Yes, he released a mea culpa. Yeah, because he got roasted for it, because it's not about the most valuable unvaccinated player, as Rodgers stated. It's about the most valuable player to their team. I made a terrible mistake Tuesday with my Aaron Rodgers comments. It was completely my fault. There's no one else to blame. I'm here to try to apologize. And my column is unlocked for all and for free, all to read here. I couldn't possibly be more sorry for joining the conversation at all and some of the childish things I said about Aaron Rodgers. He clarified his position for the media heads that rightfully called out his mishandling of voting rights while remaining stubborn those he addressed and blatant attempt and pandering at the PC crowd. Yes, he tried to pander to the woke mob and lost. Worse yet, I've apparently unleashed a small army of self-styled social media and talk radio experts who have no clue what they're talking about to challenge the quality of the voting process and would attempt to invalidate my thought process that doesn't agree with their own. He added in his half-hearted mea culpa. So it really wasn't an apology. It was more like a clarification, if you will. Arkush threw overdue praises at Rodgers, full of cordial words and empty calories. To Aaron Rodgers, you are one of the greatest players of the generation, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I couldn't possibly be more sorry for dragging all of you into my mess, and I hope you will accept my faux apology. Rodgers' response, of course, as we all saw, he called him a bum. Thoughts? Rodgers is 100% correct. He called him a bum. Now, you could say he's a jerk because of some of the things he's acted the way this season towards his players. Now you could say, now you may have a reason not to vote for him. But not voting for him because he's a unvaxxed, because he's a dirty American. Yeah, no, it's not how it works. Now, let's just look at other leagues. You can go into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame and you can pull out half the people that are in that Hall of Fame and find dirty things about them. You can. From alcoholism to womanizing to spousal abuse, you name it. They're in there. You could say the NFL. You could nitpick practically every NFL Hall of Famer and say, I didn't like this about you. I didn't like this about you. I didn't like this about you. You're not getting into the Hall. NBA, NHL, Major League Soccer. Go to any major sports league Hall of Fame, and you can do that. Same thing with MVPs. You can go over the last 20 MVPs of the league in NFL and say, I didn't like this about you, or you. But yet, you still voted for the guy to be the league MVP. No difference. But of course, we're in 2021 and 2022. And of course, if you are not poked, you are looked at as a pariah. You are looked at as second class. When you have 60% of the country that is unvaxxed, whether through medical reasons, religious reasons, or just say, hey, yeah, there's not enough data. I don't trust the, quote, science behind it. I refuse. You are looked at by the media anyway, as second class and not worthy of any kind of medical help if you were to get sick in some way, shape, or form. But I agree with Rogers. And for this guy to backpedal, well, he didn't really backpedal. He, like I said, he clarified his remarks. Yeah, it's not an apology, dude. You just try to cover your own ass. And Rogers came out the winner because of it. Again. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.